Welcome. This is a lecture series. Please have your paper and pencils ready to take notes. The better your notes, the more help they will be to you later when you are doing assignments for the standard. This series is designed to introduce you to the Oklahoma Academic Standards for 8th grade. Today we are going to cover 8.4.R.4 of the Oklahoma Academic Standards, which is 8th grade, 4th standard, reading, point 4. The verbiage of this standard reads, students will infer the relationships among words with multiple meanings and recognize the connotation and denotation of words. Please pause the video and write down the definition of this standard so that we can break it down and understand it a little bit better. Let's first start with looking at what the word infer means. To infer means to form an opinion from available facts. Please pause the video and write down the definition of the word infer. So, whenever we talk about inference, what we're going to do is we're going to read a passage or we're going to read some sentences and we're going to try to form an opinion from what we are reading. Sometimes some people call this reading between the lines. We're going to infer or make an opinion from the facts of our reading. Denotation. Denotation is the literal meaning of the word. It says what it means what it says, it is denotated. Please pause the video and write down the definition of the word denotation. Connotation. Connotation is the emotional or imaginative meaning around a word. Sometimes a word can have a positive connotation and a negative connotation. Sometimes there's even connotation pairs. Please pause the video and write down the definition of connotation. Let's look at some examples. Here is a positive connotation example. If someone says she has a youthful attitude, doesn't that sound more positive to you? Versus if I said she has an immature attitude. Could she have the same attitude? Yes. But depending on how I put my words to her attitude is what you're going to connotate or understand that I'm saying about her. Let's look at a negative connotation. He's a chicken. Is that the same as he is a coward? Yes, it is. So you can have the connotation of the word chicken to be negative. Is the actual animal a chicken negative? No, it's a good animal. But in this sense, we are using it in a negative way by saying someone is a chicken. That means he's a coward. Then we also have connotation pairs. Let's say, for instance, he's a bum, or he is homeless. That is a connotation pair. If we look at the connotation pair, and if you think about somebody perhaps that you see at school or on the street and they don't have a home, if somebody says he's homeless, then that might be a more positive connotation than if somebody says he's a bum. If we think of the word bum, we might connotate something very negative, such as them being a panhandler or unwilling to work. So our words have a very strong impact on the people who read them and who hear them. Are we using our words positively or negatively? When we read something in a text, we want to look at the surrounding text to infer the positive or negative connotation. Sometimes words can have negative or positive connotations or denotations, as we've already looked at. That is why it is very important for us to read the surrounding text to infer which one it is. Sometimes the surrounding text will give us a clue as to what the author is thinking, whether they are inferring a positive connotation or a negative connotation. In a previous lecture video, we discussed words with multiple meanings. If you have not had a chance to write down these definitions, please pause the video and do so now. Otherwise, if this is your first time to see these are words that have a definition that we will discuss now. Homonyms are words which look or sound like another word with a different meaning, such as axe and bald. When I say the word axe, you don't know if I'm saying ACTS axe or AX axe. That's because they sound the same, but they have two completely different meanings. Homophones. Those are words which have the same pronunciation, but different spellings and completely different meanings. For example, ant. Is it an AUNT ant or an ANT ant? Homographs. Those are words that are spelled the same but have different pronunciations and meanings. The example I have here is close, like nearby, or close, like close the door. Please pause the video and write these down if you have not done so already. Now let's put it all together. Sometimes words have different meanings and we have to look at that surrounding text to understand the meaning. Sometimes you're going to use denotation. You're going to use the exact definition of what they're saying or the exact definition of the word. Sometimes it's the connotation, kind of reading in between the lines. We have to infer what the word means or the passage means depending on the surrounding text. Let's look at the way the standard is stated again for the Oklahoma Academic Standard 8.4.R.4. Students will infer the relationships among words with multiple meanings and recognize the connotation and denotation of words. Do you have a better understanding of what the standard is about now? I hope so. Now is the time for you to take your notes, to practice your skills with assignments from your parents or from your teacher, and then take an assessment to ensure mastery of this skill. Thank you very much for joining me today.